So we come to, so there's the flood, okay? And like I say, from Noah's point of view, he and his family are the only ones that survived the flood, even though that wasn't true. Okay? There are a lot of people that survived the flood. Like I say, some of them were out in space. A lot of the pre-Adamites or the descendants of the pre-Adamites survived the flood. The Chinese, Africans, Aborigines. There's white tribes. There were white tribes in Europe, but the origin of race came along long before Adam and Eve, and therefore long before the children of Noah. Okay, so the flood happened. Okay, so God made a contract with Noah and his seed. And he told Noah and his seed that if they would keep 4 simple commandments, that he, God, would not destroy the world again by flood as he had just done. Okay. And the 4 commandments that God gave to Noah was 1, be fruitful and multiply. And in the early days, after the flood, the people were fruitful and did multiply. Okay. Then the second commandment was don't kill. Or I should say, don't shed innocent blood, because that's what the idea of killing meant. Don't shed innocent blood. Okay. And since one of the problems before the flood was abortion, well, you don't shed innocent blood. You don't do abortions. You don't kill children, And then the third one is that if there are people that are shedding innocent blood, then God authorized us to execute the murderers. All right? Execution of a murder is different than shedding innocent blood. Okay? And then the last commandment is to not eat or drink blood, that by doing you are making a pact with the devil. Any pact that's done with the devil, a person is required to eat and drink blood. That's the way the devil makes pacts, by eating and drinking blood. It's the same thing today. A lot of people are making pacts with the devil today, and they're drinking the blood. And from what I've seen on a video, that the blood they prefer is the blood of babies, the blood of children. So a lot of children are being sacrificed for these people to make their covenants with the devil. Okay? So those are the 4 commandments. And like I said, as it was in the days of Noah before the flood, so it is today. Shedding of innocent blood is rampant. There's no respect for human life in these days, or very much. Among certain groups of people, there's still respect of human life. And the killers are getting away with murder. The killers are in the government, and they're killing people, and they're getting away with it because they're the government. They can do it, and they can get away with it. And they get away with a lot of other things too. Robbery, and murder, and incest, and, all homosexuality. Everything evil the leaders, the ruling elite are getting away with. Okay? And then it's all about making pacts with the devil, secret societies where people are making pacts with the devil. And, we're living in dangerous times. We really are living in dangerous times. And the world is right now ripe for destruction. And there's going to be destruction, and it's not going to be just by flood. There's going to be flood and fire and earthquakes and tornadoes and all kinds of other things that are going to destroy the wickedness of mankind. Okay, so there's Noah, and there was Noah's contract with people. Noah's contract from God with the people. And if we live that same contract, we can enjoy the same blessings. We can enjoy, harvest times, planting times and harvest times, and peace in the land, and no war and stuff. Okay, so Noah and his 3 sons come down into, it says they came down off the mountain and they came into the plains of Shinar. Now the way it's spelled in the Bible is Shinar. Okay, now one of the things that you have to know about the ancient languages is that the vowels, they didn't use vowels. It was all consonants, okay? And so like you take like the 3 consonants in Shinar and you got SH and R. Okay, now S and SH is pretty close to the same thing. I mean, the letter for one, it could be the letter for the other. Okay, I mean, you have to know the language. You have to have heard the language to know whether it's an S sound or a sh sound. Okay, but it's spelled the same. Okay, now N and M are virtually the same letter also. N and M is just how you terminate. It starts out the same. N, whether you terminate the letter with your tongue on the roof of your mouth or whether you terminate the letter with your lips together. N, M, you see, but it's virtually the same letter because it starts out the same. Okay, and then R, somehow or another, R is always the same, R. Okay, now, so when you're looking for the root of Shinar, you have to take the SH and N. Well, Noah's chosen son was Shem. You see, and N and M would be the same letter. Okay, so when you're talking about Shinar, you could be saying it's Shemar. Okay, now the modern translation of SMR is not. It could be Schumer, but it could also be Shemar, which it really is. Shemar, Shinar, Shemar, Sumer. It's all the same place. Okay, but evolutionist people, they don't want to call it Shemer. They don't want to admit to the idea that Shem was the head of the first civilization, after the flood. They don't want to admit to that. So the guy that made the translation, and he was going to have Shemar, and they said, no, we're going to change it. You're going to call it Sumer. Okay, so whenever you're reading about the Sumerian civilization, it's not Sumerian, it's Shemarian civilization, the civilization of Shem. Okay, and it's important to know that. Okay, and for about 200 years, the Shemarian civilization grew and prospered for about 200 years. And but then what happened? Well, some of these extraterrestrial people came back and with their covenants with the devil, and they got a hold of some people in Babylon. And they convinced the people of Babylon that they needed a new world order. You see, because the world order with Shem was patriarchal. With the patriarch, Shem was the head of the government. Just like Noah had been the head of the government before the flood, Shem was the head of the government after Noah. But these extraterrestrial people came down and brought their pacts with the devil and taught these people to, lust after wealth and power, and set up a new world order where they would be the rulers of the world and they would take the government away from Shem. And that's what they did.